Now we move on to the fifth presentation, for which I invite Mr. Sanjay Desai, who is MD of Regreen Excel EPC India Private Limited, to make his presentation on trouble-free sugarcane syrup to ethanol production. Steps taken at Satish Sugar's 200 KLPD plant. Sir, you have 15 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for question and answer. Welcome,
Yes,
Sanjay Desai.
yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Raskar, sir. Respected seniors like Narendra Mohan ji and Dr. Sanjay Patil and Avasthi ji. So, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. So, since a lot of issues and the topics and solutions are discussed by all the stalwarts, so my job will be limited to only a few points where we can add some more additional explanation and bridge the gap. So I would like to share a very simple presentation. Okay, this is the ethanol molecule which is inspiring and bringing all of us together. So now the inspiration is also with the farmers and their children because of the new ethanol policies. So basically, in our company, we build 100 plants. Out of 100 plants, 50 plants are having the capability to use the sugarcane syrup. And off-season, they would be using molasses. Very interestingly, quite a few of them are adding a grain section for the off-season. So almost 25 of them will be using the grains. So basically, when it comes to the cost of production, feedstock cost is major, and the utilities, then manpower and other things. Like all the panelists explained, that the feedstock quality is very important to achieve lower cost of the feedstock in the cost of production. So it's very interesting to note that these utility consumptions, effluent treatment cost also depends on the feedstock quality. Supposing if you have more VA, more bacterial load, we won't be able to achieve good fermentation efficiency, good alcohol concentration. Then indirectly the utility cost will go up, and indirectly the effluent treatment will become more difficult due to the low solids. So how the industry has aggressively taken the step for doing sugarcane syrup. Mr. Narendra Mohan ji already explained pros and cons of that. So you can see the intent of the industry. So one of our customers in Karnataka is building a 800 KL syrup to ethanol plant, which will be commissioned next week. So these are, of course, the various feedstock options available. Today we are discussing about the sugarcane to ethanol. So of course, as per the government policy, 50% of the ethanol will have to come from the sugar industries, and another 50% will have to come from the grain to make E20 fulfillment of the E20 mandate. So it means that with only molasses, C molasses, B heavy molasses, we cannot achieve 50% of the 20% mandate from the sugar mill. So definitely, sugarcane to ethanol is going to be very crucial. In our estimate, around 5 to 6% will come from molasses to molasses ethanol, and another 5% has to come from sugarcane, direct sugarcane. Then another 78% will come from the grains. So, of course, all the panelists explained already that high VA and high bacterial load is going to be an issue. Apart from this, variation in the breaks on a day-to-day basis also is going to be an issue for fermentation. Of course, I would like to touch upon a few more aspects here because see why the VA increases in the sugarcane syrup. So one is, of course, because of not having proper sanitization. One can always think of using sanitization chemicals and also antibacterial agents to bring down the bacterial load and also the bring down the VA. So apart from this once we switch over to mechanical harvesting of the cane, so again the VA is going to be a problem, because once the VA increases in the cane or the syrup juice itself, then it will be very difficult to manage the VA in the sugar mill. So this is one very important thing, because we have experienced in other countries like Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia. So when they switch over to mechanical harvested cane, then controlling VA is going to be very, very difficult. So this is one point I would like to add. So apart from that, waiting time of the cane in the cane ad or in the field itself is also going to increase the VA. So of course, this can be controlled with the proper cane management and bringing the cane harvesting. So these two I would like to touch upon. Then of course, when it comes to the effluent treatment option, so when we design the plant for sugarcane molasses C and B, we usually go for a cement wash fired boiler. So instead of increasing the sugarcane to ethanol production capacity by 50% in the same plant, still we will not have enough concentrated slop to have a optimum mix of the bagasse. So definitely one needs to really think about relook at the designing the effluent treatment plant. So probably we can have two simple systems with the common facilities. So maybe we can go with the cement wash boiler route for molasses and B heavy molasses. Then we can add a simple spray drying system for the sugarcane production, ethanol production during the season. So we'll have to work out a lot of utility balance, common facilities in terms of the designing and operating. So I think this is possible to overcome the issue of excess bagasse usage during the sugarcane. So of course, these are already explained by Mahesh Kulkarni ji. So I'll skip it. This is a plant we did in Satish Sugar very recently. So this was constructed in a record time of 6 months, start to finish, because they wanted to catch up with the present crushing season. So last 1 month we have been operating this plant. So initially the VA was very high because we are reaching the fag end of the crushing season. So control on the cane and the other feedstock was an issue. So now by using the chemicals, we are able to bring down the VA by 50%. So still work is going on. Similarly, there was a very high bacterial load. Again, we use a lot of chemicals. Then the fermentation has improved. Of course, one very important which was discussed by Dr. Sanjay Patil is the corrosion of the equipment. So when we have a very high volatile acid, high bacterial load, the pH drop in the fermentation is very fast. So it can go as low as 3 in the fermentation. Then in the spent wash and the spent lees, it goes below 2.5. So then it becomes very difficult to really take care of the equipment. So we have observed that all the reboilers at the column bought has to be SS316 tubes. Then the recovery column and has to be 316. Then apart from that, we have to also take care of many other equipment like sealing system, like vacuum pumps, MOC. So there could be a lot of failures in the pipelines. So one should really try to upgrade the material of construction of the distillation and dry operator. So of course, brick variation is also a big issue for fermentation efficiency. Apart from the variation, so in our observation is many sugar mills have a boiling house which can give 65 bricks. So during winter, it would be a little bit difficult to ferment this very high bricks because these are coming directly from the sugar mill. And also storage of the syrup also has to be limited in the sugar plant. So otherwise, with very high bricks and more storage and a very long pipeline during the winter, I think there could be some initiation of the crystallization. So this is also one aspect we have to study in detail. So I think many of these topics are already discussed. So of course, it is very important to adopt a new method for cement wash treatment. Could be a spray dryer or a composting. So that gives a better economics. So these are the plants where the syrup has been tried. Almost 12 plants. We have got all the data where our commissioning team has worked with the companies. And of course, these are all our other plants which are. So I think I should end this topic without actually making a conclusion because this industry is new to all of us, technology providers, production companies, and also the institutes. So we should really work in hand, try to share information and data, and because every factory, every region has a different problem. So there is a lot of technical interaction is required amongst all of us. So then we can identify each and every problem. Then we try to give a solution to the industry. So that's why I'm not, making any conclusion here. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, thank you, Stai, for this opportunity. So corrosion, there was a question on corrosion. Dr. Patil also has explained. Then, so we can, I also explained, but a detailed study is required in terms of the, operating plants. We can always collect the, which are the streams are having low pH as is basis. Then we have to basically improve the material of construction. It is not only the evaporator tubes or evaporator columns, even the pumps, motors, vacuum pumps, wherever a lot of streams are having a low pH, we need to really address those equipment. So with low spent wash per liter of alcohol, so actually all the distillation columns are designed considering the LYV ratios. So supposing we know that right from the beginning, I'm going to use syrup, then my spent wash quantity will be lower. Then accordingly, we will design the number of caps and the downcomer sizes and vapor areas, everything according to that. Of course, here the challenge is now we are asked to design a common distillation plant, which can process molasses, which can process syrup, and which can also process grain. So fortunately, our government of India has allowed us to increase the capacity when we do the syrup by 50%. So that is actually helping us to properly design the distillation. If you want us to design a 100 KL plant for all the three feedstock, then it would be very challenging. So because everywhere, like somebody has really pointed out correctly, that L/V ratios are quite different for each feedstock. See, the fast fermentation is always advisable because if you have a slow fermentation, of course, we can add a few more tanks and try to get the capacity in the syrup fermentation if we have a very high VA, etc. But there is a fall in the pH of beyond 42 to 46 hours. So the pH is falling very fast. So that is not advisable for the the life of the equipment. Also, even though we can get the capacity with very slow fermentation, but fermentation efficiency will not be achieved. So therefore, we all should work and have a proper mill standardization and try to improve the fermentation as if we are doing a B-heavy molasses fermentation. So that is a right solution for this. I think that's all, sir. There are many questions, so I can answer on a one-to-one basis. I have taken a picture of all the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay Desai ji. You have given a very nice presentation, and you always talk about the reduction of cost of production. On very rarely the people talk about this, but special thanks to you. And also you have explained the VA right from the fields also. And You have ended your presentation with the spray drying, composting, and you have touched up the corrosion also. So thank you very much. Now,
Thank you also. Jai Hind, sir.